If you have OCD, you need to break up with your talk therapist. Okay, sorry, that was really strong. Don't want to tell you what to do. It's just that, having a traditional talk therapist when you have OCD could actually be like making you feel a lot worse. And a lot of people don't talk about that, right? Like, don't get me wrong, talk therapists can be great for a lot of different people about a lot of different things, but they're not always the best at diagnosing it or, handling it or figuring out what to do when someone has OCD. I've had OCD for kind of as long as I can remember. I remember, for example, when I was in elementary school, I had like a year where I was really, really scared of germs. I was really scared of my own hands being really dirty, no matter how many times I washed them, to the point where like I would eat everything with a fork. Like I'd be at school, like eating pizza with like a fork and a knife, and all my friends would be like, "Oh my god, you think you're so fancy eating pizza with a fork and a knife?" And I'd be like, joke's on you. I think my hands are poison." So that's actually why. It got to the point where if there was a food that I couldn't eat with a utensil, like a cookie, I would hold it in a way where I'm like just barely touching it, and then I would like eat around it and then throw out the part that I was touching, which is not a good way to live. But on the bright side, it did make me realize that my thumbs are double jointed. Isn't that cool? We have to have fun. As an adult, I started seeing a talk therapist in college. That was the first time. And all love to this woman. I hope that she's doing well. I hope she's thriving. I hope that she's going on trips. I hope she's skiing. I hope she's climbing mountains. I don't know why I thought of those first, but they seem fun. And I hope she's doing them safely. They seem a little scary. Anyway, this talk therapist made me almost stop believing in therapy altogether because I sat down with her. I was like, in my head, I was like, I think I know I have OCD, but like, I'm not really sure. I just want to like have someone tell me. And so I tried to like soft launch it a little bit. Like I sat down with her and I was like, yeah, so I'm having these like intrusive, sometimes I have these like bad or scary thoughts. And basically to kind of like undo them, I have to do like a little pattern in my head. And I just have to kind of do that. It's like I sort of have to just keep doing that. And so, like, what do you think that is? And this woman, I swear to God, was like, that's weird. I don't know. I was like, you what? And she was like, yeah, I've like never really heard of something like that. And it's kind of just like, okay, awesome. I'm never going to tell you a problem ever again. I mean, every time I went in there after that, I would walk in and be like, yeah, I'm doing great. I'm the CEO of the bank. When you have OCD, you're doing a lot of thinking, you're doing a lot of ruminating, you're doing a lot of spiraling, trying to like figure stuff out, and getting stuck in these like patterns and in these spirals. And to make yourself feel better, you're like self-soothing with behaviors like repetitive patterns or reassurance seeking or like checking behaviors or like the whole gamut. Like there's so many different types of there's just a lot, right? And a talk therapist can unknowingly make it worse by sort of validating the fears, like validating the thoughts, trying to figure out where the thoughts come from, and also by validating the reassurance seeking and validating, the patterns, the compulsions, like all of that sort of stuff. And that's like not helping you. Like that's not helping anybody. It's actually just making it worse. Like I remember like I had a talk therapist who was like, you just need to do what makes you feel good. Like don't worry about it, just do whatever feels good. And it's like, okay, well the thing that's unfortunately making me feel good for like 2 seconds, by the way, it's not working. The thing that's making me feel good is blinking 4 times and repeating my grandma will not die and my foot looks normal over and over again. It's like that is not helping anybody. Also, my grandma is fully dead. Like it is simply not gonna help her. Like, I stopped believing in therapy for a while because I wasn't doing a type of therapy that was helpful for me. Then a friend told me about NOCD, which is where I started seeing a talk therapist who is trained in ERP, exposure and response prevention. And it was so different. I mean, my therapist helped me learn that bad, scary, intrusive, like just like the thoughts that make me feel scared, like they are just thoughts and we don't have to do anything about them. They can be uncomfortable, but there isn't anything to like do about them. Like we don't have to assemble a task force to figure out where it came from or what to do. And that was so freeing. And don't get me wrong, it was hard. Like it was so hard. My ERP therapist was tough on me. They all are. They will not give you reassurance. They will hold you accountable for doing the work. And I was mad. Like it was not easy. I was so mad at my therapist. I cried. I gave her attitude. I was like, none of my friends would ever talk to me like this. I would never be your friend. And she was like, yeah, I'm not your friend. I'm your therapist. And I was like, oh, she got me. I still experience OCD, but now I have the tools to make it easier to like kind of feel the discomfort and move on from it. NOCD has helped me train my body to realize that just because I feel scared doesn't mean that I'm experiencing an active threat that I need to do something about. My talk therapist would be like, oh, you're scared your whole family is gonna die and it's gonna be in a gruesome accident and it's all your fault? Wow, tell me more about that. And my ERP therapist would hear something like that and she'd be like, girl, whatever, so what? And somehow that worked. So if you have OCD, it's worth maybe trying ERP therapy.